H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys supports 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus. One-time pay, lifetime access to live classes and videos. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For free demo class, visit h2kinfosys.com.
You will be having but different parameters, like basically existence in many forms. Poly means many. So in short, if you want, what does it mean is like poly means many forms, many, and morphism means forms. So polymorphism means existence in many forms. So that's the reason people say that many forms means like sometimes the method name is same, but it will be available in different forms. Simple example, area. I say area can be for a circle, area for a rectangle, area for a cylinder. The method name is same, but it is existing in different forms. The meaning is different. Okay, so that's what they say. Depends upon that requirement. You have to write the same method name, but it will be called as per the arguments. Okay. So once we see the example, you get to know what does it mean. That's the reason I'm saying here, if two or more methods in a class, method I'm saying, what is the main use of methods? Methods perform some functionality. Methods perform some functionality. What I'm saying, if two or more methods in a class which are having the same name, means all the methods are having the same name. There is no change. I'll try to write down in the example, you get an understanding. But they differ in the following. Following means what? Argument type. Suppose for example, I'll try to create one method, public void area int a, one method. Second method, public void area float b. What is happening here? The method name is same, but I'm changing the argument type. Suppose for example, number of arguments. Number of arguments is what? Public void area int a comma float b. And position of the arguments, public void area float a comma int b. See, I'm explaining all these examples. I write down all the examples. These methods are called overloaded methods. Let's write down all the examples. See, public void int, sorry, area, write down int a. So this is one method. Okay, let's see. See, another method, public void area float a. See, these two are different argument types. See, one time I'm writing for integer, another time I'm writing for float. These are for different argument types. Okay, differ in the argument types. Okay, this is for a. This example for a. Okay, I'll write down for the a. Okay, number of arguments. Sometimes you write what? Sometimes you write one argument, sometimes you write two arguments. Means what? See here. So these two methods are differ in the number of arguments. For one method we are passing only one argument. For the same method name we are passing different arguments. So these two are overloaded methods. Okay. See, I'm not talking while writing. I'm not talking because the voice might break. That's the reason after writing I'm talking. Okay. So public void area int a. Okay. So public void area float a comma b. So in the first method we are passing one argument. In the second method we are passing two arguments. Okay, they differ in the number of arguments. Now the position of arguments. See, Okay, this is how you write the position of arguments. Okay, public void area float A comma int B, public void area int A comma float. That's how you have to write it. So we are talking about methods. If two are, what I mean to say, the method name is same, but the implementation is different. Okay, the method implementation is different. That's what I'm saying. The method name is same, but it exists in many forms. Sometimes for circle, area is pi r square. Sometimes for cylinder, pi r square h. Sometimes the area is 2 into length plus breadth, a square for square. So depends on the requirement. The method name is same. The arguments might differ. The arguments, number of arguments might differ. The position of arguments might differ. Then these methods are called as overloaded methods. Overloading happens during compile time. Means everybody knows, I told you from the beginning, there are two things: compile time, runtime. Compile time means what? I can click on the method and I can show you which method is going to be called. That is static, means it cannot be changed. Whatever the method it's going to be called, that same method is going to be called during runtime also. So compile time means what? Again I'm explaining. When you click on the method, it will be showing which method is going to be called. The same method is going to be called during runtime, because when you try to run, here we get the output. Okay, this thing if you want to understand, let's see with an example. First we'll see overloading, method overloading we'll see. With an example I'm showing. Okay, so we'll get a lot of doubts. Let's all clear everything. Let's create one more package for polymorphism. Let's create one more package for polymorphism. Class package first create polymorphism. I'm showing Eclipse. I hope everybody is able to see Eclipse. Polymorphism. I'm creating a package for polymorphism. Yes, I created a package for polymorphism. Cool. So I'm creating a class. I'm creating a class for method overloading, for understanding. This is not a predefined class. I am creating by my own. Don't think that this class is already available. I'm creating some name for my understanding, so I can recollect afterwards. Okay. So in this class, if I want to execute, as I told you from the beginning, if you want to execute the class, we'll write a main method, main MJIN, control space. I'll set the first one. I written main method. So apart from this, what we'll try to write? We'll write all these method names. So what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to copy these two method names. See, because I don't want to write again, I'll copy this. I go to the Eclipse. I'll write down these two methods. See. See, these two methods are called as overloaded methods now. Area int of a, area float of a. So how do we call these methods? If you want to call the non-static methods within this class, how do we call? We create a object. Let's create an object now. How do we call non-static methods? We create an object. The logic is same. The logic is same. You have to, by this time you should be familiar with creating object. Say O or say M. Some understand M is equal to. So M is an object. Suppose for example, I want to call this method, which is of area int of a. How do we call? Suppose for example, I'm planning to call area int of a. How do we call? See, M dot area, we have to pass some integer. Any integer we can pass. Suppose for example, that's what somebody is saying is a 10. So I'll pass 10. So how do you know this method is going to be called? This method is going to, how do you know? See, I told you from the beginning, you just control click on this, control click on this. The cursor goes there. Again, I'm showing. Placing a mouse pointer there, control, hold the control button, okay, and place a mouse pointer here. Just click on this, the cursor goes there. Means, okay, this is going to be called a method area which contains an integer. So this happens during compile time. So whatever it happens during compile time, the same thing happens during runtime. That's the reason they say it's called static binding. Binding means which method I'm going to call, it is fixed. It is not going to be changed during the entire execution of the program. That's the reason they say it's a static binding. People know static means what? Constant. Non-static means what? Basically not, in the case of our Java, basically static dynamic will be there. Static means what? It's called, it's fixed. Dynamic is what? It will keep on changing. So method overriding is dynamic. That we'll see afterwards. For yesterday's class we'll see. M dot. So how do we call float? As I told you from the beginning, 2.5 F. We have to mention F. That's it. So I'll try to click on this area. let's click on this area. Control, place a mouse pointer on this, click on this. This is going to be called this one. So I'll write down here something. Okay, so when I try to run, what happens? The value of a is 10, the value of a is 2.5. So you can perform some calculation, but I'm not doing that. I'm just written a method. If you want, you can say pi r square, pi is 3.14, and if you want to calculate the circle area, you can say 3.4 into 10 into 10. If you want, you can do that also, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to print something because that is required for us. That's it. So I'll try to run. What happens when you try to run m dot area? This will be called, the value of a is 10. Okay, value of a is 10. Okay, the value of a is float. So let's just how it happens. Let's run this. The value of a is 10, the value of a is 2.5. So this is called compile time polymorphism. The method that is going to be invoked, it is going to be fixed in the compile time. That's the reason method overloading is called compile time polymorphism. Again, I'm showing two or more methods which are having the same name, area, but they differ in the argument types. What are the argument types? Int, float. Okay, like that you can write all these four. This also you can write. This also you can write. Your wish. You want to practice. Remaining two also you can practice. That's what I have given the structure also. Okay. So then they say these methods are overloaded methods. Array is a overloaded method here for understanding. Okay. That is for method overloading. I think we have sufficient time. We'll try to cover overriding also so that we can start Selenium from tomorrow. That's my plan. Let's see. Let's see for overriding. Let me write the theoretical part. I'm not talking now. I'm just writing the theory. Let me write down theory, then I'll talk. Okay. See. I don't bother about return type. I bother about arguments. Return type, there is no change. If you change the return type also, I don't bother. That's the reason I'm saying always bother about argument type. Return type is not an issue. So that's the reason if I try to talk about return type, people get confused. Don't talk about return type. Return type is not required. I mainly focus on the argument types. Okay. Even if you have the same return type or different return type, compiler will not check. Compiler always checks what is the name of the method, what is the argument you are passing. That's what it will check. It will not check the return type. Okay. So let's see, overriding means what? See, let's see. I think everybody knows when we talk about superclass and subclass, something has to come in your mind. When it will come, superclass and subclass concept? Can anybody type in the chart window? When it comes superclass and subclass? Inheritance. When I talk about superclass and subclass, this will come only in the inheritance. So you have to remember, okay, there is a superclass, there is a subclass. Subclass we are extending superclass. What I mean to say, if the superclass and subclass are having the same method name, I should mention same method name with same number of arguments. There is no change in the method. I'm trying to write the same method in the superclass and subclass. Then that method is called as overriding method. Then the method is called as overriding method. What I'm saying? If the method is same in superclass and subclass, then the method is called as overriding method. Okay. So what is the main use of overriding methods in the real time? Suppose for example, somebody has given a class to me. Somebody has given a class to me. I feel that that class contains some method which I can use it. But what happens? That method is okay, but the method contains some functionality which I don't want to use it. I want to write my own functionality. So what you do, subclass extends superclass. You use the same method name, but you try to write your own implementation. What does it mean? In the real time, people use that. Okay. So basically, if superclass and subclass are having the same methods, they're having the same method name and same number of arguments, then the method is called method overriding. Okay. Overriding happens during runtime. What I mean to say, in the real time, when we'll use, we've tried, suppose for example, I write a method called display in the superclass. I'm a subclass. I try to use a method, but what I see, display method is perfect, but that contains some logic which I don't want to use it. I'll write my own, but I'll put the same method name in the subclass also. Then I say display is there in superclass, display is in the subclass also. These two methods are called overridden methods, and overriding happens during runtime. That's what we'll see now in the example. For our understanding, let's start creating an example, then we'll discuss more. Okay, let's create an example first. We'll create a class called superclass first. See, I'm writing public class superclass. Let me write one method. See, I'm in superclass. This is superclass. I'm writing for understanding. I'm creating one more class for subclass. See, this we have seen inheritance. If you are not able to understand, please go through the inheritance video again, or inheritance examples. Please, there also we created two classes, superclass and subclass. Subclass extends superclass. So I say extends here, subclass extends superclass. So usually I have to use the same method name in the subclass also. Then only I can say both are overridden methods. See, I'll try to put the same method name here also. I'll copy this. I'm writing the same method in the subclass also. See here. What I have done, the same method which is available in the superclass is copied into the subclass also. I have done the same thing. Fine. Now let's create a main method, main. Please change, yes, I'll just change the print there, that's right. Perfect. Actually, I'll tend to change for the print statement so that people should not get confused in subclass. Fine. Yes, thanks for that. So control space. So what I did, basically somebody is saying to change the print statement, right? So what does it mean? Okay, 1 second, I'm getting a call, 1 second. Hello? Okay. Sorry for that. I got a call. Fine. It got over. Okay. So basically, I'm writing the same method in the display in the superclass and subclass. Now I'm trying to call the method. See, now I'm trying to create an instance of the subclass. So we did the same thing last time also. Let's see. Let's create an instance of the subclass. Subclass S is equal to new subclass. So using this object, I can call the method available in the subclass s.display. See. Okay, as everybody knows, when I try to run this, which method will be called? So I'll click on the C. So when I say sub display, because it will check within the subclass first, whether this method is available or not. If this method is not available in the subclass, then it will go to the superclass. Always I'm saying this, I have said in the beginning also, when I try to invoke a method, it will try to check in the subclass first. Yes, this method is not available. Then it will go to superclass. But here it will check, yes, it is available in subclass. Why should I go to superclass? No, I'll try to invoke. That's called overridden concept. Overriding means what? Don't use that, use this. Okay, so when I try to run, what happens? See, in subclass, this everybody knows it. As part of inheritance topic, we have explained it. If the method is available in subclass, the subclass is highest priority. That everybody knows it. Then what is different in the case of overriding, which we call as dynamic polymorphism? Now everybody focus on this. This is the point which we are seeing here, which is different. See. Okay, now I want answers from everyone. Okay, when I say s1.display, which method is going to be called? I want answers from everyone. Please type in the chat window so to know I can understand, know what is your observation. Okay, so it is going to call superclass. Okay, somebody is saying it will call a superclass method in sub superclass. So which one it will be called, superclass or subclass? So guess it. It's okay, not an issue. It might be a problem. Guess it. Okay. So what is the output of this, in subclass or in superclass? Because displays method is available in both the places. What I'm trying to do, superclass S1 is equal to new subclass. I'm trying to create an instance of superclass and I'm trying to assign a subclass instance. As I told you, superclass can hold any of its subclass instances because superclass is a superset. Okay, fine. I think I got some couple of answers. I'll explain you. I understand subclass, it will try to print a subclass only. Why it prints? Let's see. Okay. Again, I'm saying from compile time. Suppose for example, when I try to print s1.display. Now see here. Okay. When I'm clicking on the display method, it is going to superclass. Somebody said superclasses. Yes, that is correct. What they said is correct. That happens during compile time. During compile time, it is going to call in superclass. That is perfect. But when I try to run, what happens? It will try to call this one. Again, I'm saying what time I want to click here, it shows that the method that is called superclass. It's called compile time. See? But when I try to run, it will call this method and it will print in subclass. Why? What happens? Okay. What happens during runtime? During runtime instance creation happens, object creation happens during runtime. So during runtime, it will check what kind of object it is. Yes, it is a subclass object. So let me go and invoke the subclass method. That's why it happens. Okay. So it is called dynamic polymorphism. Why? In the compile time, it is going to call superclass display method. In the runtime, it is going to call subclass display method. That's the reason it is called as dynamic polymorphism. Okay, it is going to be called as dynamic polymorphism. Okay, so method overriding means what? Two methods which are having the same name in the superclass and subclass, and they're existing in the superclass and subclass. Okay, with the same arguments, but different implementation. When you try to create an instance and assign it to the superclass, during compile time it will invoke the superclass method, but during runtime it will invoke the subclass method. So this is called dynamic polymorphism. Means compile time it is going to pick something, runtime it is going to pick another one, because object creation happens here. What's the object here? The object is what? New subclass. So this is the highest preference. Let me go and call the display method available in the subclass. The output of this is in subclass. That is the answer. See, there is no use in the real time. Means like, sometimes you can decide which method to call, right? This is just for understanding. They have given two methods, which one to call. In real time you don't get much difference basically. I think you will not get much difference basically. You know which method to call. Suppose you want superclass method, you create a superclass instance. If you want to call subclass, if you want to invoke subclass method, you can create a subclass instance. In real time you will not get much example, but they said like, overriding means what? It happens during runtime. So when you try to create an instance and assign it to a superclass, it will try to call the display method during runtime. In the runtime it will call the subclass method, but in the compile time it will call the superclass method. But the real time you will not get much difference. You will not use it at all. That's what I'm saying. This is only for Java concept. It is not at all useful for Selenium also. Okay, fine. We'll do one thing. We're already running out of time. We'll start taking the Q&A session. Let me stop recording.